Adam Curtis is a documentary filmmaker, a writer. He makes political and historical documentary films for the BBC. You all know the films. They include The Century of the Self, The Power of Nightmares, The Trap, What Happened to Our Dream of Freedom, and All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace. His films have won many awards, including 6 BAFTAs. Also, he's had a collaboration actually at the Manchester International Festival in 2013 with Massive Attack on Everything is Going According to Plan. Adam has also been a participant in many previous marathons. For the Garden Marathon, he did a talk called I Am Not a Garden, I Am a Machine. And for the Memory Marathon, he presented a talk and film about brainwashing. We are very, very delighted that Adam is here with us today. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Adam Curtis.
Thanks very much, and thank you for inviting me. When Hans Ulrich rang me up, he asked me whether I would do a film about conservation and saving endangered species. And I actually was quite keen to do that because I think conservation is a quite fascinating and quite complicated area. It's not quite as simple as some people think. I mean, it's very good, and it's very good because it's about conserving, rescuing and saving species from extinction. And it's also about animals, and I love animals. I just like animals, as I think probably everyone does. It also is a very powerful idea which captures our imagination. And because of that, it tends to get some quite odd bedfellows with it. I mean, this is the really interesting thing, which I don't think scientists quite often examine enough, is that science, and especially biology and sciences of nature, tell us fascinating stories. I mean, really dramatic stories about the world. And in a way, they make sense of the world to us. They take all that sort of chaos and tell us these dramatic, moving, powerful stories, which make sense of the world in a way that possibly politics doesn't, especially at the moment, and certainly many of the cultural stories we tell ourselves don't at the moment. It takes us somewhere else in our imagination. Because it's so powerful, what then tends to happen is that other groups, possibly with a political interest, tend to sort of get attracted to those stories because they become simplified metaphors for something they see, which may not have been in the original intention of those who put those stories forward. That's why I find it interesting. It's a complicated area. So I was really pleased with the idea of making a film about it. Then what Hans Ulrich said was that would I make it about the pangolin, which actually I really like because I really like pangolins. Pangolins are just, they just are the most beautiful animals in the whole world. I mean, the marmot is nearly there, but the pangolin is best. The marmot is silly. The pangolin has a sort of nobility. It's not one of those, what the charities call charismatic megafaunas, you know, the ones they used to get attention because they're sort of proud and big. And you know what charismatic megafaunas are. But it's not the opposite. It's not, I don't know what you call them. I mean, what's the opposite of the uncharismatic, not megafauna? You know, it's not one of those. The pangolin occupies a space of its own. It's noble, it's beautiful, but it's not twee, which is what's really good about the pangolin. It's got a beautiful face, but the best thing about it is the way it walks. The way the pangolin walks is just one of the loveliest things in the whole world, which you'll see in the film that I've milked every shot I could find of a pangolin walking in the film, and they're all there. I haven't repeated them, but I've just used all of them. Then I started to do a bit of research, and I found a rather interesting clip in the BBC archives of someone rather interesting associating himself with pangolins, which rather opened up the very thing I've just been talking about the confusing issues behind conservation and saving species. And then I found out a really, really fascinating fact going on right under our noses in the present day, hardly reported on, which I think is relevant, and I've incorporated into the film. I've put all these 3 things together. It's an excuse to show you lots of pangolins and to encourage people to rescue these noble and wonderful creatures. It's also a sort of an exploring of the very ideas about the complexities that these sort of stories that come out of science raise. So I hope you enjoy it. So, yeah, thank you.